Episode 2 of a double header tonight on the Peg City Sound Off. Episode 2 brought to you by Frozen Fire Studios out in Neepaw as well. Frozen Fire does everything from community events to recording your next EP. Now, episode 2, we got a 5-piece band here. We got Heartsleeve. Really looking forward to having a chat with you guys. I just said before we went live, I've been listening to your music all week. Big fan. Let's get to it. Let's do an intro. Tell us who you are and maybe what you do in the band.
Go that way, this way, maybe.
Mike Herb. I play steel guitar and mandolin.
My name's Ryan Woods. I play drums, but probably not on what you're listening to.
Yet.
I'm Matt Defu. I play all the basses and sing harmonies and write some of the songs.
I'm Gareth McNichol Briggs, and I play banjo. Sing.
I'm Greg. Play guitar in this band. Yep. I do harmonies as well. Sing.
Yes, we like to all sing. Mike sings sometimes, but it's only when Greg's gone for a long time.
Excellent. So let's dive right into the fundamentals of this band. How long have you guys been together for? I know an EP drop was, I believe, 2020, right?
Yes. Yeah, we finished recording it, I think, in 2019 and released it in 2020. So before we were a band, Matt, Greg, and Mike were all in a band. And I think even in a different iteration, Mike and Ryan were in some kind of band.
Yep.
So what was
That's probably 20 years ago.
20?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like a funk project.
Yeah. So Mike and we call Ryan Woodsy because I don't know, his last name is Woods. I call him Woodsy. They were in a project. These three were in a reggae band. Tell them about that.
We were in a reggae band for probably like 7 years at least.
Yeah, I think so.
With Idrissa. It was called Idrissa and the Peacemakers. We played kind of the Soca Reggae Festival a few times, and just a lot of small things all over the place, just local stuff mostly.
Kind of African folk music.
Yeah, soca reggae type stuff. So, and it was fun, but then we kind of broke apart and it fell apart a little bit. And I met Gareth at Folk Fest 2018 Folk Fest, and we just really made a very strong connection instantly. And I was like, "You have to play music with me." So I tricked them, and
Took the bait.
I did. I took the bait. I was my friend Chris came up to me and she's like, "You have to go jam with Matt." And I'm like, "Don't tell me what to do. I don't want to. Don't tell me what I have to do." And then I met Matt, and this was in the year at the Folk Fest camping, like at the campground where they had the big circus tent. I don't know, have you ever been camping at Folk Fest, Joel?
I've never been to Folk Fest.
Wow. Okay.
It's excellent.
That's a good time. So imagine the lawless West. No, I don't know. It's just kind of this wild sort of vibe in the campground. And they used to have these things called animations. And they were people that would bring these big tents with different purposes or different functions. And they had this one giant tent that could fit it felt like 100 people underneath it or something. And they would have fire dancers come and perform. They'd have musicians. They'd have like tarot readings during the day. It was this multifunctional tent, drummers. And my biggest memory I have with Matt is at this Folk Fest. They have these drummers, these djembe drummers, like 4 or 5 of them. They're going nuts. And there's like 100 people facing them. And me and Matt are in the group turned away with our instruments. And we're just improv jamming, and we can't even hear each other, but we're still just It's giving her hell. And I just remember thinking, because I've played in tons of different groups with tons of different people. I just thought in my head two things. I was like, how does he know what I'm gonna play when I don't even know what I'm gonna play? I'm just improvising and it's working. And in that particular instance with the drummers, it was like, how are we even able to jam when we can't hear each other? Like, I don't understand. And so we immediately developed like this really strong bond or friendship. We hung out all weekend. We would go to shows together. We danced. I got to learn about Matt's sense of humor. We cut in front of people, getting water at the water line, and then snickered and walked off. And I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so he invited me to jam. It was with Greg and Mike and our former drummer Riley. And I was feeling very nervous. I'm kind of like, unless I get to know people, I'd feel a little like apprehensive when I meet people. So I was like, well, I don't know, as long as me and you can jam. And then I showed up and I just played a song that I had written. And then everyone kind of just backed me up and we started working on harmonies. And then that was kind of the inception in the band after Folk Fest in 2018, where it started.
Awesome. Great story. Yeah, I've never been to Folk Fest. I've heard such great things, and every year I say I'm gonna go this year, and then I don't go, and I got to get out there sometime.
You do, man. It's a really good time. It's a really good time. It's a whole experience. Like the festival, like the actual festival itself is wonderful, but the camping is a whole other experience too, whether you're with family or yourself. Like it's always an adventure, feels like.
Each year it's different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Excellent. So let's dive into the music a little bit here. This is actually this is pretty cool. Waves, your song "Waves." My earlier memory of it, not that it's been out very long, was seeing Trav. He was promoting it because he did a video for you guys.
Yeah, he did. Trav's our video guy. We love him so much. He does such good work.
Yeah,
So
he's
good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's so good. So Waves. So what goes into writing a song with Heartsleeve? Are you all involved? Is there a single songwriter that kind of brings the song to it? How did Waves come about?
Well, first of all,
That's a you song.
that's a me song. I wrote that one. But the thing I love about this band is that everybody is a songwriter and they all have their own styles. Like if you listen to the EP, Daydream Rider is Matt's song. Don't Lose Hope was a leftover Peacemaker song that I took home and rewrote vocals for, so a reggae song.
Mike wrote that.
Or yeah, fair. I didn't even know that till right now.
Yeah, he wrote Mike. Don't he wrote all the music for it. And Gareth just redid the lyrics basically.
Yeah.
Like completely different lyrics, completely different vocal melody, and yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's much improved.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to listen to the original because I wanted to come in with my own ideas because otherwise I'd make that happen. But yeah, and then Greg writes a bunch of great songs too.
Thanks.
Yeah. And he's very humble too. But and so those songs are going to be on the new record too with Waves. But that's one of my favorite things. I was talking with my uncle. I was working with Roddy today. I slow release. I almost hooked up with Greg before I met him for the band because my uncle works with him. He's Greg's a flooring guy and my uncle's a carpenter. So I actually almost worked for Greg before I even met him for the band. Yeah, which is crazy. But what I love about the band is that we all write and we all have a different style. Like if you hear kind of a fast bluegrassy style, or maybe in like a creepy style, or now kind of math rocky, like that's a Gareth song. If you hear something like, how would you describe your music? Like Matt has kind of this Latin feel,
Latin and like world.
All over the place. Yeah.
R&B even. Yeah.
Well, and then I wrote the kind of like the gypsy jazz too.
Oh yeah.
Golden Calf. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I have a lot of influences that I like a lot of eclectic music. So you'll hear that way that I write. I don't really stick to one style necessarily, but
Yeah. we all have a couple styles that we kind of, naturally gravitate towards. Like, I never thought I'd be playing reggae on a banjo until Don't Lose Hope. I didn't even know that was possible. But then I joined the band and I was like, I can figure out how to do it on the banjo. And so Mike writes we have a new song that we're going to be playing this Saturday. We have a whole bunch of new songs, and one is Mike's song. And it's kind of, how do you describe it, Mike? I just love playing it.
Yeah, it's got a lot. That's it.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not like a bossa.
Yeah.
Bossa feel to it. Samba.
Yeah, it's like a samba bossa, and we don't have a song like that yet, but we just have a jazzy bossa samba, and I just figure out what works on the guitar, right? And Greg writes these beautiful. I was describing Greg's compositions as like kind of these warm watercolors, whereas mine are very like kind of pointed and have very like obvious staccato parts. Greg's are like these big feelings that come out, and so that's just generally the whole band. That's why we have such a large pool to draw from, because we're all songwriters and we're all different and we all just want to support each other, which is neat. So I'm sorry I haven't answered your waves question, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, but waves. So waves was one thing I like to do when I write songs is I like to push my technical capacity. I like to just kind of go above and beyond it. And so the very intro riff of waves was this 3-note downward kind of rake with my hand. Diddle da da da. That was 1, 2, 3, and then I pop my thumb and come back up, and I couldn't do it smoothly. So I made that into an exercise for myself in the form of like an opening riff of a song. So I do that a lot with kind of the songs that I write. Is I take a concept like that and try to push it and make something I struggle with musical, and then build off of that. And so waves, as lots of the songs that I write for Heartsleeve in the last couple of years, I write at my dad's lake cabin. So he has this big front porch that he built with 2 of my cousins, and I would just sit out there with my banjo usually all day and just plunk around and just have a good time. Or if I was struggling with emotions or processing something, I would really sit there and I'd kind of work through it musically. And Waves was one of those ones where it was a mixture of that technical thing, as far as trying to improve my chops and come up with something that captured my own attention and was interesting to me. But I was also struggling with, I lost kind of 2 people. They didn't die. They exited my life in a very kind of unceremonious way. And one was my partner and one was someone that was my best friend, and they kind of hooked up, and I, in a way that I felt was kind of like a little bit unscrupulous or gaslighty, or it just didn't feel good. And so I was in my emotions and feeling pretty sad about that. And what I do in my writing process is that I try to take those emotions and I go into them. Like, I go into kind of the sadness, and then I try to find a lesson from it that I can just move forward with. And so that's kind of what tints waves. It talks about, like, that's the main feeling. I love doing natural description. I love opening songs with just things that I see and feel and hear around me, like the waves crashing against the shore, the wind through the trees, just whatever it takes you to kind of feel present with that. And then just also accepting the death of things like friendships or even actual death. And I used it as a meditation to let go of things that would no longer be in my life, like those friends or that partner, or even thinking about when I pass or the people closest to me pass, like, how do I want to feel? How do I want it to go? And so I was kind of exploring all those feelings with the banjo, and it kind of eventually coalesced into waves.
Awesome.
So
I mean, it's a great song, and after hearing you talk about your musical styles and everything, it starts making sense, right? When you look at you start looking at the songs, like "Don't Lose Hope" was obviously I heard Waves first, but then when I started going through music, "Don't Lose Hope," you get a different vibe, right?
oh yeah.
Leave It All Behind leave all this behind. Sorry, leave all this behind. That song, I listened to it a couple times, and I'm like, I hear something in it, and I feel like I'm hearing a certain band to it. And then I realized, for me, I don't know about for you guys, but for me, it had a very Blue Rodeo vibe to it.
Nice.
Mhm.
Super cool though. But when you start listening to songs, Bipolar Love, you start listening to these songs, you can kind of tell. And now that I talk to you and hear it, you can kind of hear a bunch of different musical styles, influences, even that would kind of make up these songs, right? So super cool. But no song, you don't listen to and be like, oh, the song sounds exactly like the other song, because none of them sound like each other, right? And
All right.
that's just
You've done
that's
your
just
work.
credit to good songwriting.
Yeah, the variety is the spice of this band, and that's I think that's maybe the biggest thing that people notice or compliment us on is like when they've never heard us, they're just like, "Oh, a banjo, it's going to be some bluegrass folk thing," and then they're just like, "What did you just do?" And we're like, and I always say, "Whatever we want, whatever genre we want with folk instruments." So
No, I love it. The music's great. And speaking of the music, people are going to get to hear the music is this Saturday at Side Stage
yes, this Saturday we
with a great lineup too. The Jerry Hattricks, Bow Legged, I believe, is in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, Heartsleeve, of course, and Gladly.
Yes, my good friend Glenn, who I also met at Folk Fest the same year I met Matt.
Here's my
Yeah.
let me tell you my Glenn Radley story. I've met him once, and I don't think he would. Well, I wonder if he would remember this if I ever told him. I went with Evan from the Northern Royals to a house in the city that really felt cabin like, and we went and played. There was a couple bands playing there. There's a band called the Love Tongues playing, and then me and Evan did a little like Northern Royals type thing, couple covers. But on the way, he said, we got to pick someone up. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So in the back of my SUV jumps Glenn Radley with a keyboard, a huge keyboard. It took up the whole back seat. And we went to this thing, and me and Evan did our little set in this little cabin like house. And then Glenn went up there with this keyboard and played the most interesting music I may have ever heard. And I sometimes think of that. He was out McGilvery, and I live semi close there. But every time I go that way, I probably annoy my wife telling her every time. I played a show this way in this like cabin, and just talking about Gladly here, it just reminded me of Glenn hopping in the back of my vehicle with this massive keyboard.
Yes, Glenn, it's really interesting. When I met him, he was yet to be a singer-songwriter kind of guy. He told me, he's like, I'm a closeted singer-songwriter, but I play drums. And I said, I'm a singer-songwriter, but I'm a closeted drummer. We both kind of crossed over, and I started learning drums, and he became more of a singer-songwriter, and we kind of got those closeted parts of us out. So I'm super proud of Glenn. I was actually in the original lineup of Gladly, but then I realized that it wasn't just the right fit for me as a musician, and so he carried on, and he keeps finding the right people to support him. And I love him. Like, I'm so glad he's doing well and expanding the way he did. So
For sure. It sounds like a great night of music. I saw the Jerry Hattricks a few weeks ago with Pure Entry, I think, at the tap house, and fantastic. I never heard of them before then, and then they were just phenomenal to see, and what a show for you guys to play. Four great bands, Side Stage, a great venue. The sound is so good there. It's gonna be a great turnout.
yeah.
Do you have any other shows lined up, or any that you don't want to announce?
Matt and I are doing a duo set at Bell's Kitchen on April 11th with my friend Lori, who I'm playing a couple sets with as well. He does kind of country and some rock covers and stuff like that. I've been backing her up for a couple years, but that's really it. This is the last one we kind of had booked, and we might be playing some festivals coming up this summer, but our main focus was kind of getting a bunch of new songs and material ready, which we did for this show, which was good, and then to finish the album. So we've been a little less focused on booking shows than normal, and actually we were honestly actually going to pass on this one, but it was going to be the Jerry Hattrick's last show, and they helped us get our start, and we played shows with them at the beginning, and this show is very near and dear to my heart because I love every member from the Jerry Hattricks. I love their music, and the fact that it's their last show ever is a big deal for me. Since I moved to Winnipeg, they had always been kind to me and helped give us opportunities, and I love their intricate fingerstyle / Red Hot Chili Peppers-esque punk thing that they do. Like, it's super unique. So
yeah,
I'm really excited to just support them on their way out and see, everyone just kind of move into the ways that feel good for them. So I wasn't going to miss it.
Excellent. April 11th, Bell's Kitchen. What time do you know what time it is?
I think it starts at 5 p.m. on
Okay.
April. So.
I drove by there a couple times, and I've been meaning to go there. And I'm meaning to go see obviously live music, right? They seem to have something going on all the time. So April 11th, 5 o'clock, maybe the time to go. How about merchandise? Do you guys have any merch out there?
Some stickers.
The shirts are gone.
We got some underwear. We got 8-track tapes.
8 tracks.
Yeah, it's 8 tracks actually.
Interesting.
No, no, we have some shirts. We printed when we released that EP, we had about 500 CDs printed, and we're on the last like 20 or 30. So we got CDs of our first EP. We have T-shirts. We got stickers. We have magnets. We have buttons. We got like the classic old school merch because that's what I know. So that's So we got that going on. That's at shows. We'll have that at shows.
Awesome. I'm gonna message you for one of those CDs. I'm into collecting the local band CDs because I now have a CD player in my car. I went back and I got a car with a CD player and a 6 CD changer, so it's all local.
Hey. What vehicle is it?
You don't need no Wi-Fi.
Talk about the Jerry Hattricks and Gladly and Bow-Legged. Bow-Legged, I'm pretty sure I know someone in the band. But anyway, let's talk about some other local bands. Who are you guys listening to that's local?
That's those guys that I mentioned.
I think Secret Beach has got some great stuff out. I guess they're kind of national now, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He seems to be killing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just told about him yesterday.
Micah Ehrenberg, yeah. Used to be just went as Micah Ehrenberg before. But he's got really great
Shay Wolf.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Krista from Shay Wolf.
Yeah.
She's great. She's lovely. Me and Matt play with her sometimes. And Jake Bell from what's it called? JD Edwards band.
And we love, I like the staples like Leaf Rapids. Those guys are awesome. And just all the local ones that go. JD Edwards, he's great too. The guys that play at the Times. And there's a lot of
Sean Burns.
local bands.
Yeah, Sean Burns.
Yeah,
Great too.
those kind of we like all that stuff.
I like proggy stuff too. So like Kyle Halderson from the Jerry Hattricks, his newer project Dr. Rift is really interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's incredibly creative and smart with how he approaches things. I love everything that he does pretty much. So
He comes from music too. Like he's Ron Alderson's grandson.
yeah. Yeah. So there's a couple. What about you, Joel?
Oh God, I'm listening to everything. I listen to anything. I love discovering new bands. Like you talk about the staples out there. The bands that are in the Winnipeg scene or have moved on from the Winnipeg music scene and are doing their Canada wide stuff. And I just love discovering new bands. The band I just had on before you guys, the Soundoff. They're I never heard of them, but they've been doing their thing for a little bit. But they got a new single out. It's so good, and I just love discovering the new bands. And Gareth, I'm gonna kind of throw this one back at you here. The night I met you, my band played the Tap House with Fox and Sound. You were on
Yeah.
drums, and I absolutely love that band. And then that takes me to Emily's other band that I had on Sunday night. Juice. I'm not even gonna say it. It's Juice. but Fox and Sound, phenomenal. You had the vocals, you got the drums, the guitar playing was like he was doing things that I haven't seen anyone really do.
Yes.
It was different. And then one group, and this is a tribute band that I wanted to get out to see, is your Young Cardinals too.
Yeah, the Alexis on Fire tribute band.
Yeah, it's bands like that. And one thing I really like doing, I go down to the Tap House on sometimes go down on a Thursday night where it's no new music night, because that's where we got our start. And that's where I saw you guys play. And yeah, there's just so many good young bands coming up. There's a band I saw the other night called Penny Sleeve, and Taylor Morgan, if you know Taylor Morgan he was in Dead Levy, and it's his band, and they just tore the place down. They were so good. And
Nice.
Kingsway is another band. I've never seen Kingsway, and they're great. But there's just so many good bands that you can discover any night in Winnipeg. There's so many good venues out there that are hosting music nights. And yeah, you basically, especially down Osborne, right? Osborne's got some good venues: Park Theater, Park Alleys, Side Stage, Tap House. You drive down Osborne any day on the weekend, and you're gonna get live music. Even during the week, you're gonna get an open mic or something, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I could probably go on forever about local bands. Obviously, just to pat myself here, the Summerfest I'm putting on, which unfortunately is Folk Fest weekend. Never thought that one through.
No. Oh,
I'll be fine.
It's only Saturday, but I got 9 bands coming out for that. Ronnie Ladderbrook is kicking it off. He's just a monster on guitar, and there's just some good bands playing that day, and I hope to grow it into something else, because I limited myself to 9 bands, and I probably had 30 people reach out after, and it's like I kind of already picked the 9 bands before I even announced it. And now I look at it, and now I'm hearing all these bands. I'm like, oh, I wish I could have 1 more hour on that day. And then I wish I could have 2 more hours, 3 more hours. It's like, I can't run a 24-hour festival here with music going on 24 hours, right? But there's just so many good bands. I want to grow it. I've said many times in the last couple of weeks that my long-term goal is to shut down River to Stradbrook and have music going outside, music going inside. But I got to make the first one successful to make it happen. But there's just, long story short, there's so many good local bands, and every time I hear one, I want to go see them. So
yeah, that's the treat about Winnipeg, is that like when I was living in the States, it was so few and far between with where I was living. There was like one venue or like just a handful of bands, and it just got less and less and less, and everything kind of disintegrated. And then when I moved back to Winnipeg after 20 years of being gone, and I got to see how thriving and like just bountiful the music scene was. When people complain about Winnipeg, I'm just like, shut up. Like, you guys have so much. Trust me, you have so much more than what I had before. So yeah, it's very plentiful.
it really is. I'm not sure if you caught any of the episode the other night when Riley Saunders was on, and yeah, he's such a ambassador for music in the city, and he has said Winnipeg is the music capital of Canada, and without a doubt. Every day you could take a deep dive into music, and especially in the city, and find your next favorite band. So, I mean,
Yeah, there's no
I
shortage.
mean, I've been listening to you guys like all week, right? So, really digging it. And for me, I've kind of been in a. I'll be honest with you, I've kind of been in a little punk phase lately. Listening to the horrible like Taking Back Sunday and stuff like that. And then I put your stuff on. It's like you can tell it's such great songwriting, and I'm sure you all. I know Gareth. I know you, but I'm sure you're all multi instrumentalists.
Yeah.
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 We switch around sometimes. I mean, it doesn't go as well as the normal instruments.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like the train beat, which is like I have my way of playing banjo. That's a ding ticka ding ticka ding. Like the train beat is like the punk beat of the folk bluegrass world. So I was realizing that as we were kind of playing bipolar and waves, that's like our version of the punk beat, but you know, just with brushes and it sounds like a train.
No, it's fantastic. And yeah, that's also one of the first things I thought when I heard it. I'm like, I guarantee that they could probably switch instruments and each one of them can play this song with different instruments, right? You can I don't know. There's some about the music itself you just kind of get that vibe from. So but anyway, I love it. Obviously you got some listeners out there, and anyone heading out to Side Stage this weekend, it's gonna be a heck of a show. It's a great lineup front to back. So
Yep, and it's going to be nice, like basically nice conjunct 30-minute sets, really fast changeover. And yeah, Saturday, come on out, side stage. It's we're not a band that's has a ton of social media presence. We don't post all the time, but we have a core group of people that come to our shows that love our music, and that's just kind of the way we do things. We move at our own pace and our own rate, but we're still here. We're still playing. And
awesome. Do you know when you go on? Do you know what time?
9:30ish.
Okay.
I think I heard like 9:30, 9:45, something like that.
we're second.
Oh no, we're second. And
We're
then
second.
Geriatrics.
Then Jerry Hattrick's, and then Gladly's closing it.
Hmm.
And Bowlegged's first, yeah. So yeah.
Just give it in an order that really makes sense.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense in that order.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna give you guys the mic to wrap it up, and maybe just a little word to your fans out there, and just whatever promo you want for our show this weekend.
Right on.
Right. There it is.
Are we gonna play?
Yeah, we're gonna do the thing. So okay, so this Saturday side stage, come see Heartsleeve, come see Bowlegged, come see the Jerry Hattricks in their last show ever. So you're not going to want to miss that. They're wonderful people, and my friend Glenn Radley and Gladly yell about things in a very theatrical way. It's going to be very entertaining. With that, we'll just leave you with. We're going to play a song. We're going to play just a riff of a song. We just decided right before you called. And yeah, well, Greg and Mike were downstairs, but you guys
introduce it. Just go.
Yeah, okay, we're just gonna go. One. And that's our mouth version of a song.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping on today, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Joel.
Having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Great meeting you guys. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. Obviously, more releases coming out. Yeah, great having you on tonight. Thanks for anyone who's tuning in for the double header tonight. Yeah, and we'll check you guys out sometime. Gareth, I said before when we started on the show that you're one of the nicest people I've met in this scene, and I think a lot of people will agree. So, great meeting the four other of you, and we'll catch you around. Okay.
Thanks, Joel. Saturday.
See you later.